Um, so today we're going to talk about planning. And my question for you, Tad, is you're a good planner, I think. Do you consider yourself a good planner?
Yeah, I would say overall, um, I am, yeah.
Have you always been that way?
I've always been fairly organized. My brain works, maybe it's partly why I'm so prolific is my brain just organizes info. It's something I
Hmm.
realized about myself in my late teens that I like to categorize things. And so for me, just for my own sanity, staying organized and the amount I'm doing, the amount of things I'm taking on, if I'm not organized, it just all falls apart. So part of it is just survival of the onslaught. But yeah, have you
Yeah.
always, is that your thing?
Um, I think that I think that when I was younger, I was really against it because I considered myself like a really creative person, and it felt like planning was the antithesis of that, that you can't just like fly by inspiration and whatever. But over the years, I've just found that you can do more. Like a stitch in time saves nine. You can just do more if you think ahead and get the big picture.
Yeah, boy, that's so, yeah, amen.
What I mean, do you feel like, why do you think that? Okay, do you find that your clients hate planning?
I don't know if
Or,
they hate it, but they're resistant to it. They just don't do it. The classic thing I've seen so often is, oh my God, I've got this workshop I'm leading coming up in 3 weeks and nobody signed up, or only two people have signed up. What do I do? I'm like, you're asking me 3 weeks before, and my usual response is cancel it. Like reschedule it, postpone it. Why put yourself through this hell of hustling in the last 3 weeks? It takes time to really plan it. And I think most people, so there's a general resistance. I mean, because it's work to sit down and actually map something out. It's a there's a big shift in gears, and maybe it's because we're in such an adrenalized culture where there's always a dopamine hit right around the corner. To sit down and plan requires a real you just have to fundamentally shift gears. You've got to go down into first gear, and which can feel like you're stalled out if you're so used to running on adrenaline and being in fifth gear. And of course, once we're there, it's like, oh, this is great. Oh wow, this is so nice. So it's that's hard, shifting down from fifth. I think that's part of it, and we don't have a structure for it. So we know we have a lot of ideas, but it's like that bag full of receipts. Now you know you got to do something, but it's just so daunting. You know, oh, what even categories do I put it in? Is this deductible or not? And so there's that, I think, and doing it alone is just lonely making. And so I think for a lot of people, there's probably like, oh, more screen time, more of this. But and then also I think most people have never really seen a project planned out properly,
mm,
but they don't even know what to do. Like when I would um, walk somebody through doing a launch, it's like, okay, so we start planning it a year before, and they're like a year before because they start planning 30 days before. Like, no, a year before, and we're going to write all the emails like 6 months before. What? I write the email the day before. That's the trouble. You know, we're going to map it all out. And it's just very overwhelming because, of course, every one of those steps on the checklist, if you have a spreadsheet of things, it requires some work. But of course, the relief on the other side of having a plan is so incredible. Um, and maybe most people have never seen planning, and they also haven't felt that relief of what comes when you really get a system down. And once people, I think, have been through that experience, there's a kind of, okay, I'd like more of that in my life and less of the reactivity and flailing that happens, which you just can't build a business on it.
no, and you said the other day, I think we were talking about the project management system that I do, and you were saying to people like you can't delegate reactivity. You can't get other people to help you if
Right.
you're doing things right at the last minute.
I said that. That's real
You
strange.
said that, and I have repeated it, and people love it. And you need to write it down.
I do the video on that. Yeah, you no, you can't because yeah. It's because at the point you're reacting, it would be just as fast. That is true. At that point, you might as well do it because So it's like, don't get caught on the reactive. I mean, this is the whole distinction between being responsible and reactive. You know, reactive is that very in the moment. You're not making a choice at that point.
Right.
And responsible means you're able to respond. And so
Right.
it's a cooler head and more distance.
Yeah, 100%. We have some questions from I can't pronounce her name, but she said, I learned so much about planning with you, Tad, dreaming and delivering jams. You know what she's talking about?
I do, yeah.
Okay, cool. Um, all right. We had a question about newsletters, but she hopped off.